Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Extra Yard. I am your sidekick, Joey Blaze. Joining me tonight, of course, is it playing? Oh, it's me playing on my phone. Whoops, my bad. Tonight's episode of the Extra Yard, we are here to talk about Ocean City C bracket and look forward to the week ahead in the Keystone Flag Football League and what's going on with everything else. Joining me tonight is my co-host, Mr. Keith Giles. There he is.
Hello. Hello there, Mr. Blaze.
He just jumped
Lovely
straight in
evening
there.
tonight. Poof like magic.
It is magic, man. Every time we make magic every weekend, every week. Always good content. Always good flag football. It was an awesome weekend in Ocean City this past weekend. We talked A on Monday night and B last night.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little more B tonight, albeit the C bracket of B, so to speak.
Yeah, the KFFL had a heavy presence in the C bracket at Ocean City. Still good games nonetheless, but as far as the Killer Bees are concerned, we at least went down and made a mark, and that's what we were looking to do. So
And we will go ahead and talk about that as well as the other C games that went down over the weekend. We will also talk about some of the B games as well, based on what happened with our local teams, of course, the four state squads. Let's go and first by talk about a team that's comprised of a lot of guys who were playing in this area in general. I'm talking about a team that's not in any leagues currently in this area, but they have players there and they won both of them. Misfits is who I'm talking about. Your 2019 Fall Keystone champion, your 2020 Washington County undisputed champion. They went out and performed really well this weekend for their first time in the A bracket, as we talked about with Jerome Russo on Monday night. First game out, they were victorious over the Elite Rebels 41-20. Keith Giles, you had that game between Misfits and Rebels. What were your thoughts?
the Misfits were just having their way with the Rebels. The Rebels defense was not able to get any stops whatsoever. The Misfits defense did give up a couple plays. They played well still. They played well enough with their offense playing excellent. They looked exactly like you would expect them to look, and they took down the Rebels without much hesitation. Uh,
Yeah, for the Misfits, I got to say, Keith, they went out there and they performed extremely well. They're loaded with so much talent and a lot of potential. This team is on the up and up. You got to give a big shout out to the Misfits.
oh,
They
absolutely.
did, yeah. Like some might scoff at it and say, well, the Lions game, 34-0. That was a much different game, yes. But if you look back at that game, that didn't really get out of reach until late when Misfits were trying to get something going on offense, anything, and instead turned the ball over several times toward the end, 3 pick sixes overall in the game. That gave the Lions to win. Day two, they came out, they beat No Mercy once again. We saw that and talked about it last night on the OMFFL show. If you want to go back and watch that. And then they concluded their weekend with the Lions in the semifinals, falling them again. I think it was 36-13 at last check. Not sure when, or not sure what the score actually was. If I'm wrong, let me know. So really good weekend overall for the Misfits. This hoodie gets really hot quickly. Shoo, how do y'all wear these things out in the field and those like turf fields, 100-degree temperatures, all that?
For what it's worth, I couldn't understand it either. We had the option when we got our new jerseys this year to get them with hoods, and yeah, there's no way. No way.
No way at all. I couldn't do it. Like I was sweating. I was just sweating profusely just now. Woo,
And then
sheesh.
you have people like Ron out there wearing freaking snowboarding goggles.
Yo, at least it's not jeans.
Fair enough. Fair enough. By the way, Ron, I am not hating on your goggles, by the way, sir. Uh, just a different kind of apparel.
Yeah, you're hating. You're hating hard.
Not at all. I love Ron.
Yeah. You're being the biggest hater right now, Keith Giles. Mr. Bad Boys 0 and 2.
Hey, I'll take it. I saw a couple people say something on the page. It is what it is. My apologies to all of you. Uh, I'll remember that for next time.
Yeah, at least you didn't have them falling out of the top 10 come Atlantic City. We'll
And
see
I,
how that goes for the Bad Boys and the rest of the circuit year when we get back on the circuit. But now that we're a little familiar with everything that happened, shout out to the Misfits. Like I said, they represented the four state well. Their players did. A lot of talent from there who've played in both leagues around here. Big shout out to them, both currently and former. We're looking forward to seeing what noise they make come Atlantic City. I'm really excited for that tournament. That's going to be June 5th and 6th. That's over in New Jersey. The conglomerate coming together, myself, Jerome Russo, Ross Collins, and Mark Brown. Keith Giles, any plans on AC from the Bees end or yours?
none at this moment. None at this moment. So I'll definitely lay it out here and see what's possible. I do have a school trip to Florida coming up here semi soon, so I should find out about that. So hopefully I'll be able to get out there.
Love to see you there. Love to see you there. About 6 weeks. So those of you, a lot of you guys were traveling for the first time this weekend. I hope you really liked it. Your next 9-man travel circuit tournament's Atlantic City. If you thought Ocean City was intense and fierce, wait till Atlantic City. Team list already dropped. Jamie Wolf, he was on there the other night, Monday on Blunt Talk. He talked about it. Currently 15 teams in A. A is already maxed out. They're trying to talk to maybe more facilities to try to expand because B right now is sitting at 32 teams. Um, no talks of a C yet. Jamie mentioned that the other night. 9-man is not uniformly establishing a C bracket at the moment, but always that potential.
It's
Always
going to
that
keep
potential.
flag football keeps growing the way it is.
And that
You're
was
going to
something.
have to expand.
Yeah. And Jamie acknowledged that the other night too on Blunt Talk. You are going to need a rec division. And a lot of different flag styles have different divisions. We've seen 3 levels of 5-man. There's 5 levels of 8-man. It's insane just how many different levels are to other flag styles. 9-man, Andy told a story the other night with Kent last week on Blunt Talk, how back in the day there was only one division in 9-man, and that was it. You played whoever everybody had, and sometimes teams popped in with guys from the league. Sometimes teams popped in with guys from other sports. It was a wild west back then. I think and back then B was 8-man ineligible, where you were playing 8-man with 3 down linemen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, game has evolved so much, and this past Ocean City tournament showed a lot of evolution. To me, this was an awesome time. You go back, and we'll talk about it a little candidly first. I had a great time, and Sunday, I know a lot of you guys were not wanting C. I'm pretty sure AFN would have rather repeated as B champs, because they were the B champs coming in. They ended up going 0 and 2 on Saturday, falling to Maryland Titans in a very close and competitive game. And then they followed that up with a 2-score loss to the Brick Squad Nation. But when you take a look at that, those were 2 teams that finished in the top 8 on terms of B at the end of the weekend. We saw last night the power rankings, Brick Squad moving their way up right now. So AFN, they came in light Saturday. They came heavy on Sunday. They brought back the whole crew was there. That was the affiliate nation we witnessed. That was the AFN of old we witnessed out there on the field Sunday. Old school flag football, physical, hard-nosed. And it was awesome to see them out there again, especially competing against four state teams, which a lot of four state teams have not had a shot at the nation in a while. Um, you take a look at how the four state teams did in the B bracket overall. Let's first start off with the team who was earliest that day, X Dogs. First game out, they lost 19-7 to the Blackhawks. It was 7-6 with about 2 to go before Tommy Lightfoot and company got a touchdown, and then a defensive touchdown right afterwards. Two in the last 2 minutes. Blackhawks turning around. They get revenge on the X Dogs who doubled up on them back at Ocean City last time. Um, and that, as a result, was big for the Blackhawks. That gave them the momentum they needed. And they ended up being a quarterfinalist by the end of the weekend, falling to Brick Squad, actually, in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, the X Dogs definitely had the opportunities to win that game. It was a lot closer than the final score shows, but they had a battle on their hands.
Yeah, it was tough with Blackhawks, and then right afterwards, Riot Squad, who I'd said coming in, Riot Squad was a very good team. They played good fundamentals on defense. Dimitri Thompson and them have something good going on out there. That team's only going to grow and get better. Two tournaments in a row, I watched them perform really well. They were number one going into Sunday. Riot Squad was with plus 43. Like I said, they obliterated both Blackhawks and X Dogs. And for X Dogs, that meant C bracket, which I know a lot of their guys really wanted to go out there and play B. They had that great day one performance last time in Ocean City where they had a plus 40 on Blackhawks and Honey Badgers. Ended up falling in the quarterfinals for Renegades. This time around, however, X Dogs to the C bracket. I felt like they were the tender going into day two. But the other teams looking around after that, we saw Broad Axe play. And I know we talk Keystone more so, but we're all about the four state here. We're all about the guys who play in this region, no matter what it's county or Keystone. It's all family over here. Broad Axe went in. They went up against Team Petty in their first game. They lost that one 20-6. They were pretty light this weekend. It was cool to see Mert back on the field. Maybe I went crazy, but I swear someone said Josh Kelly's name at one point. That's been a while since I've seen Josh Kelly, but I swear somebody said that name on the sideline. It kind of threw me off. I hadn't heard that name. Whoa, long time. They had Chuck Smith out there. Chuck's in his 50s. He's still playing D line. They called him Father Time out there on the field. For those who don't know, he's the guy in Broad Axe with the really gray hair and the beard. I think those guys, they went out there just to hang out, drink, and go to the beach, play some football, get some different talent. It'd been 3 years since we saw Broad Axe travel. Seemed like they just didn't have enough commitment. They ended up losing the second game to the Demons, and what was a bit more of a competitive game, 13-7. That's what I thought. I was like, I swear Josh Kelly just scored because they all said Josh, and I was like, wait. Is that really Josh Kelly? Because I had not seen Josh since he retired 4 years ago after Hagerstown. Like, I was like, wait, what? That kind of blew my mind. I'm not going to lie. Like, I know Murdiff came. Murd was a little rusty. That was actually the first time I think Murd had played 9-man since Ocean City 2 years ago. I think that was the last time. I know he had been in talks of appearing in Winter Chiller for the Misfits a couple years ago. He was supposed to be their day two quarterback. Unfortunately, that didn't come into fruition. But Broad Axe, just a tough weekend overall. They did have a small comeback against the Demons toward the end, but in the end, they fell short. Tough competition for Broad Axe. Petty's, they're a top 10 team in my ranking. Same for the Demons. Demons play tough competition in the GCFFA. And in fact, you, Keith Giles, had to also take on both of those teams. Give me your perspective on both. Let's start off with the first opponent, Team Petty, the debut of the Bees on the circuit.
Oh, man. So Saturday was a lot of fun. All right. We got to go out there, check out some talent that we've never seen before. A lot of people's first time, mine included. And Team Petty, we really felt like we should have won that game. Our defense was suffocating. They had one touchdown, and they also got a safety towards the end of the game. But we felt really good against them on defense. But their defense kept our offense shut down. We could not get the ball moving. Could not get on the scoreboard. So we left that game thinking we should have won it. And I really think we should have won that game. Really could have won that game, I should say.
I think you all could have too. Like I said, the Bees defense was extremely good this weekend.
Yes.
And I thought a big key in that was you were able to maintain guys like Carlos on the team and Chad, who some were questioning prior. Could we see them on Misfits?
Well, we didn't even have Chad. He had to leave.
I think he's at the first game, right?
I
swear he played first game. I remember he was going fast though. But at least you're able to keep some of those pieces.
Yeah.
You brought in some extra pieces. You had Johnny Cocho in the secondary, Pat Freedom on the D line. I really like this Killer Bee defense that I saw over the weekend. I thought that Killer Bee team. No, Chad was not there. Okay. I don't think he made it. I think I remember he was supposed to play, and that's what I'm remembering off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long weekend, fellas. Long weekend.
Yes, it was. Not all of it was great, but most of it was.
But you look back at this Bees team, I feel like being able to get those pieces, you add in Pat Freedom rushing, you got Carlos, who's a monster out there.
Yes, he is.
Tears it up, like
both sides of the ball, all game long, always dependable.
Yeah.
He is the kind of leader that you want on your team.
He is a true warrior out there on the field.
Yes, and shout out to Chad also. He's also a person to look up to. So the both of them, good group. Good duo of guys.
Also a true warrior, Chad.
Yes.
Anyways, going down the categories, talking about it. Second game out, you guys went up against the Long Island Demons. Can only say the Demons team this weekend played really well despite not even having half of their team or their starting quarterback there. They came in with hopes, I feel like, of trying to, like I said last, I felt like the Demons were there just to get some out-of-town bumps, see what's going on in the B circuit. It had been about 14 months since they played on a national level. There was a little bit of action last season for them. I think they were in Corona Classic. But other than that, they hadn't really traveled south since Worlds last January prior to COVID. But it looked like with those numbers, though, they played really well. Your thoughts on the Long Island Demons? It wasn't a true taste of the Demons. You got a little bit of a taste of what they could do. But like I said, they're a really good team. They're top 10. You'll see them back up at the top soon. Joe told me on the way out, they're ready for AC. They're coming locked and loaded.
Yeah, I mean, you could see that they had the good fundamental pieces there. The quarterback, man, he can dip like anybody out there. He can evade flagpoles. He got me good on one. So, but no, that was another game as far as the Bees are concerned that pretty much mimics the first game against Petty. Our defense, we gave up 2 touchdowns that game. But they were spaced. They were big plays. Our defense did a very good job against them as well. The offense, we were able to get a touchdown. And we had plenty of opportunities to score. We were moving the ball a little bit better, but it wasn't enough at the end of the game. We really could have gone 2-0 on Saturday. And if the offense could have been on a better pace, I think we really could have been dangerous. Because our defense was running on such confidence that we could have stopped. We feel like we could have stopped anybody.
I think so too. Like, you guys definitely had that potential on defense, but what I felt like hurt you guys the whole weekend, the offense, man.
It was killer. It was
Yeah.
painful.
We're going to have more on that in a little bit when we go over my thoughts on each team for the weekend. So that was the Killer Bees and Broad Axe. They ended up with Petty and Demons. Part of me actually wanted the Killer Bees Broad Axe game just because of the sheer novelty of the Commissioner of County versus Commissioner of Keystone facing off.
That has a nice storyline.
Yeah, fun fact: out of the 7 teams in there, 3 of them were run by the respective people who run the leagues they're in. So shout out OMFFL, shout out Washington County, shout out Keystone. Much love to all you, all 3 commissioners. You guys made it to the sea. All love, always all love from me. Going on now, I went over to the other field and ended up missing out on Lions versus Rebels, which I wish I didn't miss out on. But in my head, I said, you know what? Tri-State's in a duel right now with the bad boys. I hear a lot of things going down. I got to get there, man. I got to get there. And I've been hyped about that matchup. That was a game when, as soon as Andy announced it, I was thinking to myself, okay, I have to be there. I have to see this game. And so as soon as I got done with Misfits Lions, I walked over. I talked to you guys for a little bit, and then I got in the car, drove right over to the other field, went live. When I got there, I believe Keenan had just connected on a deep pass. I can't remember who caught it, though, because I was setting everything up as the play happened. And they went up 16-13. That's when we started the broadcast. Spartans up by 3. Like I said last night on the OMFFL show, Eddie Thomas, man. Eddie Thomas was just a problem all weekend. For you Spartan guys who don't know, Eddie is number 5 of the Bad Boys. Small wide receiver. That kid is a beast. He is a monster. He tears it up out there every time. That is somebody you cannot let get open. If he gets open, it's over for your secondary. And Tri-State, I felt like played really well overall all weekend. But the biggest thing with that Spartans team to me was they were, I could tell there were some issues coming in. Baez Auto, their first game out, 17-0. Baez got the win. A lot of talks I was hearing at the field was just a lot of guys weren't getting along at first. It was a struggle. You know, it's always a tough draw when you get the number 2 team in the tournament at the end of it. My number 3 ranked B team. That's the thing. People don't realize Spartans played the second and third best team that weekend.
Yeah.
On Saturday. And that's kind of one of those things where I look at a C bracket and say, sometimes. Because when you take a look at it, a C bracket, while I like the concept, I like the premise of it, I just feel like with certain events, and I always had this argument about the B bracket in Washington County when we had the B bracket down here. Sometimes teams get better throughout the year. Why not give them a chance come playoffs if the regular season is truly just pool play? And some might say, well, you can't let everybody make playoffs. But to me, I look at it like this. Some teams could come out there and make noise on day 2. Tri-State, I felt like with Keenan could have made a lot of noise on day 2 based on that Bad Boys game and everything else, how they came out against a team in the Bad Boys who have a talent. They have an A-level quarterback in Jaleel, and they play really good flag football. Like, they are one of the best teams in the DMV. They're always in the top 5 in the thick of things. They ended up losing that game. 25-16 was the final. Like I said, Eddie Thomas, he busted loose at the end. Hard to guard that kid. Spartans 0-2 on Saturday, but they had a lot to be proud of, in my opinion, after that performance. Some might look at the Baez game and say -17, not that great. But if you look at the body of work and what they did, especially as they had proved as the weekend went on, you saw how they faced up against the Bad Boys. Tri-State, to me, looked like a team that, had they had that chance to at B in day 2, I think they could have surprised the living hell out of everybody.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Yeah. And so we're looking forward to seeing what the Tri-State Spartans do. Um, as we go on day two, we already hit all four of the teams locally. Joining the foray was, of course, the 717 Elite, aka some of the guys on prime time, but not everybody on prime time. But it's another York team. They were in there. Um, they had Champ, the quarterback for prime time, so I guess that's kind of close.
Yeah.
Um, it's not Baez Auto. So that's all I know. But you take a look at that. They were in there. Venom was in there. Venom had a tough bracket. They had to play FOE, who's been one of the more improving teams over the last couple of months. They had a really good performance in Nationals. Momentum kept going into this one and done on Sunday. Some may look at that and say, but of course, that one was the Baez Auto, who was just balling out all weekend. You go over and you take a look also in the C bracket. So of course we got AFN in it, who it's just weird to think AFN in the C bracket,
Yeah.
especially watching what the affiliates were 2 years ago, which Jerome highlighted the other day in 9-man. In my opinion, though, like we talked about it on commentary all game, people might look at them and say, well, they don't got this guy. Well, they don't got that guy. Well, where's this guy? What happened to this? What happened to that? But that AFN squad on Sunday felt like AFN for the first time in a long time. The intensity was there. Were they arguing with each other? Yeah, but that's brotherhood. Brothers go at each other. Brothers argue. Brothers will go at each. That's just what it is. Like everybody there, it's a brotherhood at AFN. They love each other. They were in it. They ended up with X Dogs. That was one of the meetings. That was actually the first time they had met since 2017. It had been 4 years since we saw a AFN X Dogs game. The last meeting, the first time was back in Hagerstown that fall in the regular season in Washington County. AFN won 7-0. And then the rematch was in the tournament that year. X Dogs beat them in the quarterfinals 27-14 to get to the semis before they would fall to the Maryland the Renegades, rather. That was a matchup. Other game was Broad Axe Venom, battle of the league administrators, Robbie versus Tom, OMFFL versus County. And the third matchup was Spartan 717 Elite. Let's start with the first game that we did over on the other field. I've started out with Broad Axe Venom. Final score of that one, Venom 28, Broad Axe 6. Like I said, for Broad Axe, they came out to have fun this weekend. I do feel bad, though. It's always a shame when you see a team with the history Broad Axe has go out there with only about 14 guys and have to play at Ocean City. I'll give Tom credit, though. He tried. He wanted to put out a product out there that could be good. But it's hard to get guys, to travel sometimes. And we got to remember, Broad Axe is not what Broad Axe was years ago. A lot has changed since Broad Axe was the dynasty in the Washington County Flag Football League. The potential's there. They got a lot of young ballers, Timmy, Noah, all those guys. But a very, very tough ending to the weekend. Venom blows them out. They're on to the next round. Did you get much of a chance to see that game? I don't know. I can't remember when you arrived. I know it was sometime before that. I thought you guys were there.
I don't. I got there about halftime the game before.
Okay. Yeah, it was already out of reach by then.
Yeah. And I was mainly watching the Spartans.
Oh man, let's talk about that game.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, what is it with Spartans versus York teams? Except Baez on it. Every time I see Spartans versus a YAFFL team, it's always a ridiculous game. Like you go back to the comeback by prime time and the 4 state fours. You go back to that game a few weeks ago in Keystone. You know what game I'm talking about. Primetime Tri-State,
That
one of
was
the
a
greatest
heated.
games. And you know what's crazy? They got to play primetime this weekend.
Oh my! I did not actually know that. So
Yeah,
that's going to
that's a
be a fun
game
one to
this
watch.
weekend. That's a game this weekend. The rematch of the game we saw, but a couple of the 717 guys, they were there against Spartans on Sunday. 26-25 was the final of that one. Keenan Pooler, what I was hearing was he was out with an injury. Um, Replacing him was Lucas Hall, who I had said was the best option to go with when you go past Keenan. And Lucas in that game balled out. That offense was still electric, a much different attack with Lucas. He's a lot more mobile. He's a little more shiftier. He can still throw. I think Keenan's the better passer of the two. But when you get him out there, it's a way different matchup, and he can put up the points. On the other side of 717, you got Bob Moore, semi-pro legend, York area legend, always balls out. That dude is insane to watch on the field. Um, that was just an awesome game, man. I really, really liked that game.
The
Uh,
final 3 minutes of that game were just eye opening and mouth dropping. You had, I was talking to people on the Spartan sidelines, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna see you next game." I just simply asked them, kind of jokingly, "Are you sure about that?" And 717 had the ball. They were driving, and the Spartans were doing everything they could to give it away. Uh, 717 just was not able to cash in until they were. And then the Spartans just did it right back to them. It was, in my mind, the best game to watch of the B and C bracket games.
I agree 100%. That game was just insane, dude. Like that was an instant classic.
Yes.
That was a straight up duel between those two teams, and I thought it was a really good way to start the morning.
Yes.
Yeah, 26-25, the final there. The other opening round wild card game, AFN X Dogs. Like I said, first time we've seen them in 4 years against one another. I was really excited to see that matchup again. It'd been a minute. It had been a minute. Final score of that one: AFN 20, X Dogs 14. For the affiliates, what a rally they had! 14-6 with about 5-6 minutes to go in the game. Before Keytrail Lewis, reminiscent of the comeback against ADR. I had flashbacks of that spring 2018 championship game down here at South High when Trail and company rallied back. They were down 8 to ADR. They had the touchdown. Chico was balling out on the field. Who could forget the lateral that Q threw up that was intercepted by AFN, leading to the go-ahead touchdown to get the lead and the win. A very similar game to that one. Gotta give a shout out to AFN and how they did in that game. I am looking. Dude, that game was just awesome. Like the fan of the area and me enjoyed that game so much. That was a fun game to watch.
A lot
Uh,
of history in those two teams.
yeah, it was cool to see them play each other again. That reminded me of starting out with Washington County live streaming all those years ago, and that was kind of a theme of Sunday for me. It just all was a culmination of everything over the last 40 years happening at once. When I started live in 2017, Spartans were there, different team than what they have now, of course. But Don was wearing that Spartan gear. They were red and yellow back then. They were red. They were reminiscent of the Redskins. Um, AFN was there. We were there for the formation of AFN. We saw it unfold before our eyes. Broad Axe, they were the establishment of Washington County when we got there, and they were a big deal. We even saw a couple players from back in the old Broad Axe glory days show up. Um, and of course, you throw in New School and the Killer Bees, X Dogs as well. They were there in 2017. I was really happy to see the old guy. I was happy to see everybody on day 3, man, or day 2, man. C bracket was league day, and I liked that a lot. I really felt like this was all about the 4 state and what we've been building the last few years. Some might scoff and say it's a C bracket. What's the big deal? But to me, like from the standpoint of having watched all of us grow from where things were when we got to Washington County, almost all of us in 2014, back when there was only a fall league, there was no other 9-man on the corridor. You had flag for 2 months in the league, Ocean City in the spring, and Hagerstown in the fall, Virginia Beach in June. That was it. That was what the 9-man circuit was around here for guys back in the day, for Miller Lite, for X Dogs, for the Red Knights. And, for a bit, we saw Ruckus travel. We saw program travel. Those ventures didn't quite work out, but, they got the experience. A lot of those Ruckus guys were on Misfits this weekend that were with Ruckus years ago at Ocean City with only 14 guys. And you take a look at how far everything's come. A lot of the guys who've been here for years, they're putting to work on Misfits right now. You had the Spartans, probably I think they are the first team from the state of West Virginia to be on a 9-man circuit tournament. I got to ask Jamie about that, but I think that's actually a stat. They're the first predominantly West Virginia team. We talk about 90% of their guys well over come from that state. You look at the development of the Killer Bees from where they were when I first saw them in Gettysburg all those years ago. You remember Gettysburg, the first circuit taste you had.
It's been great to watch where the Bees were to what we are now. The talent level, and yeah, it's me and Tanner and Jerry, Devin Petty, John. We're the only original 4 players left, so we all really hung out a lot this weekend, and really took it in. It was nice, and we're excited for the next one. So
I'm excited to see you guys on the circuit as well. Like I said, I hope to see you all in AC. I know that the quote unquote, there's a team in black and yellow from PA called the Killer Bees entering it in AC. I know it's St. Jean Sanchez. I know that much. I know it ain't Eric Carty. There was that mysterious Killer Bees team at AC last year with the same logo as you guys.
Yeah, when I saw that, because you put out the shocking post of Killer Bees going to Atlantic City, and blew my mind. I even looked and I'm like, oh my God, that is us. Had no idea.
It literally even had PA next to it. I'm sitting there like, wow, Eric really decided to step up to the plate here. Holy shit.
Yeah. But he did not. So
yeah, he told me like as soon as they said it, he was bombarded with messages.
Yeah, so we might be able to get out to AC this year.
Even if you guys aren't there to play, come out to watch, come out to experience it. 9-man is going to have a party. You think Ocean City was lit? You think what Andy Hoffman did over the weekend was insane? Wait till you see what the Wolf has in store come Atlantic City.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Absolutely.
Semifinals, let's get to it. Spartans and Bees, 6-0 was the final of this one. Spartans, they came out initially with Lucas, and then out of nowhere, Dakota came in. And I kind of thought maybe Lucas got hurt, but then I saw Lucas in the next game. Keith, what did you see? Did you see anything weird that stood out to you? I get it that Lucas wasn't putting up points against the Bees, but as we said yesterday in the OMFFL show, when you play a team from your hometown in the circuit, it's a tough draw because of the fact that 13-0. Oh, yeah, the score at the end. I completely forgot about the score at the end. I completely forgot about that score at the end.
Yeah, it was 12 nothing. It was 12-0.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
but
so, go ahead.
No, that last touchdown, they beat us or they put the nail in the casket, which is what they're supposed to do. We were expecting them to run the clock down. So, if we I don't know if there was we were either gonna make them beat us like they did, or we were gonna stop them. So yeah, it was really a close game. Another game that we really could have should have had. We were in the red zone probably 4 different times, and Oz, our kicker, our new kicker, he can kick it a mile. There's a very good possibility if we would have gone for field goals, that outcome could have changed. Like that's how close this matchup was. We were able to contain Lucas, to keep him from running outside the pocket too much, making him throw some more. The offense, again, we had Houston. We had changed quarterbacks for day 2.
Was that Josh Floyd injured, or did Josh decide to split up with you guys? What went down with Josh Floyd on day 2?
Just the way I'll put it, just wasn't feeling well. So I'll just leave it at that.
Happens, man.
Yeah. So yeah, just wasn't feeling it. So anyway, we made Houston quarterback. We were able to get the offense moving. We weren't able to score, but like I said, we got into the red zone. We just weren't able to punch it in. And that was a lot of our regular league roster playing on offense in that game too, outside of Larry and Tay, which I think we did pretty well against the Spartans without, and Tyler. I think we did pretty well against them without those guys there.
I think you guys did too. Like, it was interesting to see the teams minus their big circuit names, with you guys. You got Larry, you got Tay, you got Tyler. When you got those misfits, and of course Jay Black as well.
Yes.
Shane Zabir wasn't there. Sean Moats wasn't there. Dustin wasn't there.
Chad wasn't there.
Chad wasn't there.
It was
a little different circumstances though with Chad.
Yeah. We did very well. I was pretty pleased with how we were playing overall against the Spartans.
Yeah, and I feel like you guys did pretty well too. And it goes back to my point. I think the Bees. And it goes back to my point about Killer Bees. You guys are in a weird place where you have a lot of loaded talent on your league team, but that same talent is not on your travel team. And I feel like that put the Bees in a position where they had to improvise a little bit this weekend. And it was good to have core guys. It was good to have Houston. I think it would have been nice if Devin was still healthy and able to play quarterback. I felt like with Houston, he should have been the guy the whole time. And that's no disrespect to Josh Floyd. I feel like Josh, he's a capable quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
He throws a good ball. He throws a damn good ball.
Yeah, I've seen the work he's put in the OMFFL. He could definitely ball out. He's had some struggles with Elite right now over there because they're a little undermanned in the trenches. But you give him time, you give him the athletes, he could definitely ball out. I don't think this marriage didn't work to me. It just didn't work. Sometimes you can plug and play a quarterback into a system and it can work out in 9-man. I've seen it done many, many times for a tournament, especially. Like, I go back to AFN. They brought Tyler Murdiff in as their quarterback for Ocean City, which was one of the biggest moves they did, because putting Mert in there allowed them a different quarterback who, if you ever watched Tyler Murdiff play, Tyler Murdiff in his heyday was an A-level quarterback playing B-ball. He had a deep arm. He could be mobile. He had a big 6'3" frame, 6'4", give or take. The dude was just a baller on the field, and he did absolute work a few years ago for them in Ocean City. Averaged 21 points per game in B bracket ball. That team was loaded. It was insane. And him being at quarterback allowed Tay Sosa to go to tight end and wide receiver in that tournament. And then you throw in what they had in that tournament: Tay, Fox, Zeke, JR. That was an offense, man. And it worked that time. I feel like for Bees, with Mert, I just feel like Mert, he was more of a seasoned veteran than Floyd. Another thing is you got a team within the Killer Bees who usually are used to playing with each other. Josh is kind of a bit of an outsider. They don't know him well. Murdiff, those guys that played against Murdiff in Washington County, they knew his tendencies. They plugged him in and it worked out really well. That AFN approach at quarterback has always worked. That revolving door at times, whether it be Tyler Murdiff, whether it be Tay Sosa, whether it was Trail, whether it was even sometimes Tay Berry out there in that position. I even saw Chris Boone play QB for AFN for like a hot second. Like they made it work. I feel like with this Bees team though, the lack of chemistry, not really knowing each other, it just didn't work. And I think if Houston had been allowed to be the QB from the start, I think they would have had a better performance. And I feel like they possibly could have done more. Like you throw Houston out there in a semifinal on Sunday and say, here you go, win the big game, beat the Spartans. And like I said, league teams make it harder when it comes to this stuff because they know you. They know the tendencies. I think that hurt Lucas in that game because Lucas had to face his defensive captain on West Virginia Venom. And he had to face his best rusher, too, on the West Virginia Venom. And you take a look at what that was, and to me, it made for a tough recipe for both sides. That's what creates a defensive struggle. I kind of want to know what went on with Lucas. Was he benched? Was he hurt? What got Dakota in? Because while Dakota did put up points and did well enough, I felt like Lucas was the better quarterback all weekend. Also, shout out Jared Cohen, absolute beast on the line. He was a Misfits over the weekend. He's in the comments section right now. He's been in KFFL a little bit, played for them actually in 2019 when they won the league championship. Dude's an absolute baller, one of the best linemen. Nice dude overall. Former 4-star high school recruit. Shout out Jared, you're my guy. Keep going with what I'm saying. I just feel like Houston should have been the guy from the start to get the reps, to get ready for this kind of ball. Circuit ball is different. And then when you have to prepare against a team that sees you every single week, trust me, Bees and Spartans, y'all were playing each other every weekend during Corona season last year.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we like playing them. It's always a good matchup. Well, not week one, I guess I should say, but it was a good matchup, and I think this is going to give us that momentum going into the rest of the season, and give us something to look forward to. And I agree with you on Houston. I mean, to be completely honest, our offense couldn't have really done much worse. There just was not a lot of highlights from our offense. So putting Houston in there for the whole tournament, the way our defense was playing, we surely could have gone 2-0 on Saturday. But yeah, Josh, he was putting the ball where it needed to be put. But I think a little bit of that unfamiliarity, not ever catching a ball from this guy before the game, that definitely has to play a part in it.
Better question. How many of your guys even knew who Josh Floyd was?
I would probably be willing to bet I could count on one hand.
And how many people in the Killer Bees did Josh Floyd know?
I could probably count without a hand. So
yeah, it's not a good combo. Like sometimes you can plug and play, but it's gotta make sense for what you're trying to achieve. And for what they're doing. Like Josh is one of those guys who he could do work, but I feel like he's got to be with a bunch of guys who he knows, who he's familiar with. Like I said it all week. I said it the week prior. Give the ball to Houston. Let him be cute. Let him go out there, have fun. Let him learn early on because Circuit will baptize you. And I feel like giving that baptism against a team Petty would have really got him going for the rest of the weekend, because of the fact that Team Petty is a much different squad to go against than any other that they're accustomed to seeing here in the 4th state. That's just me, though. I would have gone Houston all the way. I think bringing him in the semis was a mistake. He was kind of cold at that position. You're telling him to go out there and win the big game. But I think overall, Killer Bees did a really good job for the weekend. I think there's a lot of growth here, a lot of potential here. I think the Bees will be fine. I hope to see you all in a tournament. Let me tell you, if you guys are looking for a tournament, Charm City Classic, August 7th and 8th, OMFFL, Kenwood High School. That's a 90-minute drive, and you're going to see the best of the best at that tournament. If you really want to see good local flag football in the next couple of months, Charm City Classic. Make it happen, Killer Bees.
Heard that. Well, we're gonna focus on Atlantic City here first and see how we're gonna play that.
You
So
could be one of the 56B teams in it.
yeah, right.
Um, Everybody wants to be at that tournament. I don't blame them. Atlantic City, the beach, June, casino.
We're not talking about
Man.
casinos.
Oh yeah.
Didn't
Oh
do
man.
terrible, but damn it, when a dealer hits blackjack 3 times in a row, it really takes the air out of your balloon.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Moving on now to the next game on the semis. AFN beat Venom, but I have no idea what the score was. 2-touchdown win. I want to say it was 13-0. Maybe I'm making that up. Robbie Sparks, if you're watching, confirm. Anybody on AFN, if you happen to be watching, this is Keith Giles. He plays for Killer Bees. Confirm. That's not Jerome, by the way. Don't go after him. He's not the guy you're looking for. Essentially, what I'm trying to say here, AFN won championship game. This was cool in a way. It was cool to see AFN Spartans. It was like an old school, new school thing. You know, a lot of the core AFN guys, they're in their 30s and 40s. They're older dudes. They've been around the 9-man game forever. They remember back in the time when there was one bracket. I can't remember what AFN player made that point earlier today. I think it was Cardell after Jerome called out AFN. And that's what several people were talking about, you know, why do certain B teams not play at A? People forget, though, AFN had their shot at A in Charm City. They played the Strong Island Bulldogs. With the way that you look at it, though, you had a seasoned team in the affiliates. Malcolm was there as well. Malcolm was there actually way back when AFN won Charm City 4 years ago. The first tournament AFN won. He was there for that one. So you have an affiliates team, a lot of seasoned veterans, a lot of guys who work together. They get along with each other. And then going against a Spartan team, bit of a new school thing. Spartans have a lot of young guys on their team, but, you know, you saw some veterans as well, guys who've been around the block for a bit. You know, Marquise Farmer, way back with Top Gun. Danny Longerbeam with me on Survivor 6 years ago. Another thing about Danny was playing with Red Knights when they were the runner-up in B in Hagerstown 16. He was a starter on that team. You had other guys experience. Steven Renner, he made some appearances for Ruckus on the circuit when he played with Ruckus, whether it be Hagerstown or Ocean City. So there was some sort of experience, but when you compare the resume of what those players coming in had done compared to what the affiliate nation had achieved the last 5 years, you had a lot of young versus old, new school, old school. And I feel like this C bracket championship game, it was wild to say the least. It was a wild game. Like AFN went up early on, seemed like they were going to cruise to an easy victory. And then the punt where it literally just went about straight up in the air led to a touchdown by the Spartans 2 plays later. Later on, AFN's backed up in their own end zone because, well, let's not talk about things that happened with certain people on the field. Because of things and such, they were backed up to the goal line. They had to punt it. The punt literally just goes off the side of the foot down to the sideline. Right there, nobody on the AFN is there. They're all downfield running. Easy touchdown for the Spartans. They pull within 2. They go for 2. They fall short, unfortunately. AFN, the affiliate nation, once again, they are a champion. AFN is still your daddy for state. I'm just saying. All hail
Other
to the
side.
affiliate nation, the first ever C bracket champion. Once again, AFN makes history. The affiliate nation this weekend made history. The first C team in the history of 9-man, the affiliate nation. Add to the resume, Owings Mills, Charm City champion, Ocean City champion, Virginia Beach champion. They've been to the Final Four at Nationals. Washington County champion. I think they won Maffle B at one point. I'm not sure anymore. They got a kickball team, AFN, affiliate nation. Y'all need to stand for the pledge of AFN. I don't remember the pledge. That was 3 years ago. We're not playing it. But you know what? Got to give it up to the affiliate nation. They show what veteran leadership can do. Did they argue? Yeah. Did they go at it? Yeah. Did they almost blow it? Yeah. But they show why they're the nation still. People be talking on AFN. They're bagging on AFN. Jerome Russo said, what happened to the affiliate nation? What caused the fall of the affiliate nation? The nation is not dead yet. A nation will rise again.
A nation reborn.
Shout out affiliate nation, man. They're a good team. They play great. Shout out to the Spartans as well. My thoughts on everybody on terms of circuit for the weekend. Like I said, Misfits, they did great. Represented the 4-state proudly in A. Really happy with what they did. Tough losses to the Lions, but they will be back very soon. That's a team to look forward to seeing in AC. Going to be a little bit tougher in Atlantic City. Going to see how a lot of the guys around here travel for that. I think that team, though, has a lot of guys buying in. There's a lot of investment. Misfits, they're my number 5 in A right now. Looking forward to seeing what they do the rest of 2021 into 22. You go down, take a look at the other teams in the 4-state from this tournament. Going from bottom to top. Broad Axe, like I said, it was tough for Broad Axe. They didn't have half the guys they needed. They had mostly their older guys. It was basically the equivalent of the old gang getting together to have a couple beers, play some football, and go home early on Sunday morning to get ready for work on Monday. The old school fun. That's what they were there for, man. They had a good time.
And they
I know
did that.
Tom looked very happy on Sunday morning, so I know Tom had a good day and a good weekend. The other teams going on in the 4-state, X Dogs, one and done on Sunday. It's a shame. I said X Dogs is a team that I felt like could have been a B team in this tournament, but just tough draws with Blackhawks and Riot Squad. Blackhawks, a team that knows the X Dogs. They've been around the whole time. The X Dogs have been around. You talk about two teams who played each other way back in the day over in other tournaments. Blackhawks, they've been around for a while. Tommy Lightfoot and Matt Eisenberg. I'm pretty sure they both came in the game at the same time. And then Riot Squad, much younger, much faster team, a little bit newer to the circuit style than X Dogs is used to. Felt like that was a bad matchup for them. And then Sunday, one and done to AFN. They had a chance, but couldn't finish it out. I think X Dogs, it's been a while. They hadn't seen the circuit in 2 years. A lot has changed in the 9-man B since 2019. We're seeing it each passing day, even with how much has changed in 9-man B. We'll see how the X Dogs grow. They'll be fine come league ball. Right now, though, give them time to gel. Let them get some new pieces in. I think they'll be fine. Hope to see them travel as well. Hope to see them at Charm City Classic. That's the next DMV tournament. I know they try to stay local. I know they usually go to Hagerstown and OC. Hagerstown's not around much anymore. I'd really love to see them at Charm City just to have another shot at playing. Next team coming in there as well we talk about is the Tri-State Spartans. That's going to kill our Bees, actually. Like I said with Bees, I just felt like the quarterback situation messed things up a little bit. Had there been some semblance of an offense, I think you all could have snuck in the B bracket. Um, but it's just learning experience, going out in the circuit for the first time, traveling for the first time. This Killer B squad, I think you'll be fine in the long run. This was a learning experience. Build on for the next one.
Yeah, I'm happy. We were happy with the experience and with overall how what we took away from it. So we'll be better. We'll be ready and better for the next one.
I think so too. I think so too. Tri-State Spartans, got to give a lot of credit to them. Like I said, this team could have easily been top 10 in B come Sunday. They had a really tough draw with Bad Boys and Baez Auto. That's your number 2 and 3 teams in the tournament. That's your pool play. That's kind of the downside to C. As much as I like C, it's really tough if you got to play that kind of competition right off the gate. I mean, you have to play a Bad Boys who have two who was a merger of two of the top 5 teams in OMFFL and Renegades and Aftermath, who both had been there for many years. Um, of course, another tough draw, Baez Auto, the runner up. Like, what can we say about Baez more than we already have? Um, I think the Spartans, though, they need to keep traveling, keep that up. I think Tri-State could be a very competitive B team very soon. And once Damn Dame gets his opportunity, you're going to feel that adrenaline rush.
Uh,
Next. That's about it for the 4 state teams and how they did over the weekend in Ocean City. So let's do a hypothetical C rankings. Jamie says C is not official yet, 9-man. Maybe we'll see it in Atlantic City. Maybe we won't. My personal argument for C is do it. If you're going to grow the game, we're at
you
a
got
point. Yeah.
you have to grow the tournaments if you're going to grow the game, and the game is growing. So more teams are going to want to come, more teams are going to want to join, more teams are going to want to play. So you're going to have to expand eventually. Stay ahead of it.
And I feel like, B has gotten to a point, AC a year ago prior to COVID, they had 38 B teams.
Yeah,
38.
that's crazy. How many were in Ocean City total?
Ocean City total, I want to say, was about 20 this time around.
Yeah,
And
that's
yeah. And a lot of people have complained there's an oversaturation right now in B. There's too many teams playing B. And I think more often than not, what kills a lot of teams in circuit travel is that they have to play in either an A bracket where it's overly loaded, overly stocked, the best of the best are there, or you go to B where there's a lot of teams already established in B. We talk about the staples of the DMV over the years, Rampage, Rideout, those squads, teams up north who play an A bracket in GCFFA, but play B down here, like the Ducks and the Demons. You just take a look at it overall, and I feel like a C bracket allows teams to have something where they can compete at a beginners or late experience kind of level. And I think having that option, you go to the whole labeling that FFWCT does of rec, comp, and pro. You throw into rec level, you'll get more casuals who might jump in. You might find a lot of newer talent who might jump in. There's a lot more experimentation you can do on a C level. B, like I said, it's already hard to compete in B. B has so much parity right now in terms of teams. And A is best of the best. And it's very hard to crack that top of the totem pole in the A bracket. Up there at top, you got main event. You got the Strong Island Bulldogs. You got the Punishers. You got the Lions. You got teams like Misfits and Elite Rebels trying to make some noise. Rollers, where do they stand? More teams are joining A, but it's hard for newer teams to just make that kind of jump unless they've already played flag on some level. And, this weekend, seeing the spirit of a lot of those teams playing, they all knew, we're not going to win a B, we're not going to win A, but just something on the line. Let's just go out and play. We might face guys we already know, but we're at the beach. We're here to have fun. Something's at stake. let's play. Because I've learned over the years, you tell somebody something's on the line, a trophy's at stake, everybody going to come play.
Absolutely. Everybody wants the gold.
Exactly. Let's go ahead. I'm going to rank my top 5 in a hypothetical C. This is going to be something where I only bring up if there's a C tournament between now and nationals. Um, Not sure what's going to happen with Atlantic City. We'll see. I don't think Jamie will do it, but who knows? Um, my rankings for C, and this is just for fun. This is just to like give you guys something to think about. My number 5 coming in for C bracket. This was a tough one. I'm gonna have to go with 717 Elite at number 5. I felt like 717 Elite. They had the offensive firepower. 20 against the L&D Bulls on Saturday. Could have easily been in the B bracket had they just beaten the Bulls. Tough draw with Rampage right after that. And then start Sunday morning. You got a team like the Tri-State Spartans. Great game between those two. I feel like 717 could have gotten the dub. They had a couple more guys helping them out. People will scuff at their performance, but I think 717 played pretty well. They're my number 5 for C at the end of this tournament. Number 4, I'm going to go with for C bracket. Looking at the semifinalists, I'm going to go with Venom. I'm having deja vu all of a sudden. This is weird. Probably because I've said number 4 Venom before. Who knows? Probably in this room like 3 weeks ago. God, that was creepy. Venom at number 4. Not the West Virginia Venom, the Maryland Venom, just so you all know. We'll talk about Keystone this week in a moment. I got Venom at number 4. Robbie Sparks and company. Tough draws of FOE, and I believe they had to play the Long Island Ducks on top of it. That's another team that's in the top 5 right now. Sunday they came out. They beat the brakes off of Broad Axe to get to the semifinals. Tough draw, though, with the affiliate nation. They know Robbie and them and what they can do. AFN shut down. They stifled that attack. They got the dub. So I'm going to go with Venom, number 4. Number 3, I'm going to go Killer Bees. This was a team who was missing a quarterback. If you put it's tough, man. Like, I'm not bashing on Josh Floyd. I think Josh is a good quarterback. I think this was just a bad marriage. Sometimes that happens in flag. You just have a bad marriage between a team and a quarterback that doesn't click, doesn't work, and the whole thing just goes how you saw over the weekend.
Yeah, we were trying to make a big splash, and big risk, big reward, and unfortunately, we had the latter. So we did not. We had all the risk and no reward.
And it's unfortunate for the Bees, but a lesson learned.
Lesson learned and experience gathered, and it was fun.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing what the Killer Bees could do going forward. Hope to see you all travel a little more. I'd like to see you all get a couple more out of pieces. There's definitely something there for what this Killer Bees team can be.
This defense, this defense can stay like this. It's going to leave us in any game that we face. So,
facts, all facts. Coming in number 2 of my C bracket rankings, I have the Tri-State Spartans. Tri-State, great weekend overall. They played their asses off. They had a tough draw, man. Number 2 and 3 in the B bracket on Saturday. Then you get the number 5 team in your C division, your number 3 team in your C division, your number 1. Tough draws all weekend. They came out and played well, though. You got to give it up for Tri-State. This is a team that needs to stay on the circuit.
I agree.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I agree, too. And I hope Don can find a way to get to AC, but if not, y'all got to be in Baltimore come August. Y'all got to be in Baltimore.
They are making all the proper steps. They are looking good. They had a tremendous product on the field. Like you said, just the draw was not in their favor, but they played their heart out every game. And, that's the first step.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing how they grow going forward. And, of course, number 1 up at top, once again at the power rankings, the best team in the C bracket, I'm talking about the affiliate nation. Man, y'all just can't beat AFN. Spartans, X Dogs. It was a retro weekend where once again AFN just wins, guys. That's just what the affiliates do. Ron Ross and them, y'all got to come to KFFL next season, like just for the hell of it. I would love to see y'all back in the state.
We'd love to have them up there. What is going on? All right. Sorry here, guys. We are having some technical difficulties. Computer froze up on Joey. All right. So while we wait to get him back, congratulations to Affiliate Nation again on your C Bracket Championship. And we are going to go ahead and switch gears here to this week coming up here in the KFFL. Joey got booted probably. That's very possible. He should be back here. All right. So until Joey gets back here, let's go ahead and bring up the schedule here for the KFFL. All right, so this week we have Venom and the Outlaws. That is our 8:00 game. And then the Outlaws and Villains, second game of the day. Villains Spartans, third game of the day. And ending up the day will be Prime Time and the Spartans. All four games seem to be pretty equal. I like Venom and Outlaws. Those are the two growing teams in the KFFL. And Venom has shown the upside all season so far. Outlaws still have not scored a touchdown, I believe, this season. So they're going to be looking to make some progress finally this year. I like, as we saw over the weekend with Lucas, he just went in for the Spartans, was able to make the plays. He's always a danger on his feet. He can throw the ball. That D line for Venom, I just can't get over it. They surprised the hell out of me because their size is deceiving. Pat, one of the best defensive ends in KFFL and in the four-state area, along with Kenny. And I love where that team is going. The Outlaws have some pieces, but they have got to get a cohesive unit going. I think they need some help with their quarterback position. They have a lot of growth to do, and this could be the game to start. All right, here we go. We got Joey back on here now. Mr. Blaze. There he is.
Okay.
There we go. Nice to have you back there, sir.
Dude, I have no Wi-Fi. I literally lost all my Wi-Fi connections. I'm on my phone right now. I don't know what that was. Let me try. I'm trying to reconnect right now, but I literally have no Wi-Fi. Thank you, Antietam Cable. This is why I don't ever shoot from my office. Jesus. Yeah, I got nothing. Antietam's crashed. All right, going off data cell phone. Like I said, we left off of AFN. They're number one. Yeah, you know how it goes. Keith, what were you talking about? I tried to figure out what was happening there, and I couldn't get back on for a minute.
Yeah, so I just started going. I just started going on with the KFFL weekend. Started talking about the games. Give my opinions on Outlaws and Venom as the first game of the weekend.
Outlaws and Venom as the first game of the weekend.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm trying to figure out how to make my screen like flip the image. It looks so stupid when it's backwards. All right, it's gonna be an old school broadcast. Me sitting on my phone.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we're kicking it real old school now. Just so you thought the no scoreboard thing was crazy. Here's the days where I would do a show with like everything backwards because it was all mirrored. I had no idea how to fix it. Outlaws Venom. Reminder to the referees: there is no overtime in Keystone. That is my only reminder for that game. Yeah, I posted the game between Browns and Green Machine last year. I guess final overtime in the regular season at Keystone. Unless Eric's back's turned again. Good times. I think I was listening to your call of that game and at OMFFL, I was doing Rampage Scorpions. In fact, if you go back and watch that video, you can actually hear you on commentary sometimes during that live.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it. Say we're going to overtime, and me being like, we can't go to overtime. No. But I'm also like, yeah, but ties suck, so I don't like ties. If I was still in the office, there'd be no ties. Period. We should vote no more ties.
Abolish it. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand. Like, just do the college rule like we saw this weekend. You know, it's simple enough. Doesn't take all that long. So I say we need to get rid of let the game finish.
Facts, all facts. My pick's going to be Venom. This is Outlaws. I know they were upset because I said like 20s quarters. That technically is accurate in both of their games in the 4-state fours. They did not score. I think they didn't score against the Spartans either.
Yeah, I don't believe the Outlaws have scored any points thus far this season.
Or against the Bees. I don't know anything. I got Venom until they can find a quarterback. Like I said, Outlaws, there's a lot of guys that are out there that you can bring in at quarterback and do work with. And because of that, like I said, there's guys, go out there, see who's available. You know, I can make some recommendations of local guys. You know, Adam Malott be a good starting point. Hit up Adam Malott. Hit up Andy Hoffman. I know he loves playing quarterback.
Take the Bees example. You gotta have a quarterback. That is the most important position. That is where you need to build.
I think it's time for Tom Brady Matthews. I think Tom needs to play quarterback this week.
Tom Matthews playing quarterback.
Yeah, we need Tom Matthews playing quarterback for the Outlaws this weekend. I think that will be a big key for them. They should go with him at quarterback. That's my opinion. Tom, make it happen. I want you to play quarterback for the Outlaws this weekend.
I want to see that happen. I want to see that. I think that'd be definitely bring some extra intrigue into this game to see what can happen. I mean, and look, if you are the Outlaws, you have not scored yet. You have got to try something. You have got to get a fire started somewhere. Why not give it a try? You're not going to do much worse than you're doing right now on offense.
Gotta go with anything at this point. Anything. And you're gonna get what is it? The minimum 2 games or 3 this season?
That to
Or
play in,
yeah.
I believe it's still 3.
Okay. That's what okay, so yeah, get guys in ASAP. You're already almost halfway done. What's the next game?
Next game is Outlaws and Villains. Oh boy.
You got both those games, right?
Yes, I will have all 4 games this weekend since my Killer Bees have the week off. So we will have Outlaws and Villains as the second game. And I'm going to go ahead and pick the Villains in that one myself. I think that could be just a Slaughterfest Mercy Rule kind of game.
Yeah, well, it depends. TJ Williams is injured right now. So who's the quarterback for the Villains?
I still believe it. Until the game starts and TJ is not behind center, I believe he's going to play.
We'll see, but if not, I mean, I'll go with the Coley Jones. That's me. Honestly, I was going to play Coley in the championship if Boone hadn't gotten hurt.
I think they'll be. I think either way they're going to be able to get on the board enough on offense or defense to be able to win this game.
I think so too. They should have no issue. I think last year they won with George at quarterback. I think they can win. They got this. I'm gonna go Villains. I'm also trying to find a good angle where I don't look weird trying to sit up. This is so. How did I shoot shows like this for you?
Flashbacks, man. Flashbacks.
Yeah, it was a retro weekend. Might as well have a retro show while we're at it. Next thing you know, I'll be smoking a blunt on camera in a second.
Do you have your fistful of 40s today?
No, well, no, there. This thing's being a fucker. Hold on. There we go. I was trying to get it. Yeah, this sucks. I gotta like this. This is terrible. Thanks, Antietam Cable. Thanks. Terrible internet. Please don't move to Hagerstown, anybody ever. Yeah, that's the. Yeah, I got Villains too. I can't see it going any other way.
And then go ahead.
The third game.
Third game is Villains and Spartans.
Let me know if someone also tries to join the call because, like, I don't know who the admin is for this call anymore.
I think I don't know.
I don't see anybody, so if someone pops up, let me know.
Yeah.
But kind of weird.
But no, the third game is Villains and Spartans. Finally, some good matchups.
It depends, man. If Tuz is there, it's going to be good. But if Tuz is still injured,
see now,
this, I think it should be Coley. I'd rather Coley. That's just me. Or if you really want to win, you got to go with Tivis at quarterback. You got to go with Chris Tivis. Chris Tivis is in a long line of great quarterbacks named Chris. Chris Price, Chris Boone. Why not Chris Tivis? If you put Tivis back there, it's different. I'm telling you, it's different. You can win games with Tivis at quarterback. He's watched Kevin Clancy do the same thing. Shout out Warriors. With the Bullets. And in Washington County, when the Warriors beat Broadax on Sunday, they'll see the same thing. My opinion, Billings, if you got nobody, Coley or Tivis. That's who you got. You got to go Coley or Tivis.
And who do you think is going to end up pulling this one out, with or without?
I gotta see what's going on with Spartans, man. Is Keenan okay? Like, I can't see comments, guys. So if I'm ignoring you, it's not
Uh,
intentional. I'm literally just I only have just this phone to use right now. I don't even have the streaming phone on me. Um, but I'm telling you, if they go with Tivis, it'll make a difference. I think if Tivis plays quarterback, they could beat the Spartans. But if they don't play Tivis, I'm going Spartans. Either way, I'm going.
yeah, I think I'm going to go with Spartans also in that one. I think it's going to be a pretty good game, but come fourth quarter, I see the Spartans being able to pull away. They'll be get a
I think damn Dave's gonna be hyped. That's for sure. Next game, who you got?
and the last and final game is Spartans and prime time. Now that is the game of the day.
Rematch part two.
Yes, yes,
I'm,
yes.
I'm trying to edit that first game and have out by Friday, so I'm gonna try to have that done. I just doing too much. It's a tough game, man. Like, this is Primetime's first game back since then, so they're literally coming right back to the Spartans again.
But how many primetime players, the ones that were saying they should call the game when it was 6-0 against the Bees, is it the guys that are going to be just how many people are actually going to come back?
Uh that's the question, man. Bob Moore literally walked off the field with his gear after that first game. I think Bob will be back though. Like, if anything, they should be more pissed off and determined to win this league after that happened. Like, that's how I'd be. If I were a competitor, which I'm not because I'm trash and I'm fat and I'm old, and I've always was trash, fat, and old. Ask anybody who knows me. Um, as a competitor, I want to have a chance to beat those guys. If I feel like I got cheated like that, I want to come back in, punch that whole league in the mouth, shut that fat sack of shit Joey Blaze up, and just win. That's what you got to do. Go out and win prime time. Show you can win 9-man. I'm going to go ahead. Like, I heard Brandon Dietz had some comments the other night on his Hanover Flag Center show. I know Jamie Lagana has been talking about it. YAFFL, they're in a race right now to try to make a big splash over here. You guys got to realize, if you want to set a standard, look at what Baez Auto has already done. Look at what Baez Auto has done in the last 2 years. I'm not saying to copy that, but like, you got to get that kind of approach. A team that plays well together. And some of the primetime guys are all Baez. Howard Holton played all Baez this past weekend over in OC. I just feel like with primetime, come together, play hard, get this win, shut up these guys on the show. Yeah, we did a 30-minute segment about you 2 weeks ago in that game. But, like, go ahead and win. Shut me up. Just do it. Get a win. You guys are from York. You're not from the fourth state. You're coming into this turf and win. Follow the example of the affiliate nation when they came to Washington County, took down Chris Boone in ADR, beat Broadaxe, beat the X Dogs, and established themselves as a force to be reckoned with. You too could be AFN.
We have someone getting in the waiting room here. Trail is entering the waiting room. He's getting in here.
In for the week. I got in that game. I'm gonna go Spartans. They have York's number right now, except Baez Auto. They haven't got that number yet. So that's who I got.
I'm gonna actually take prime time in this game.
You're gonna go prime time?
I think I'm gonna go prime time. The Spartans on a little bit of a losing schneid here. I think they're gonna put up a good fight, but prime time I think they're gonna come ready to hit. So I think this is gonna be an epic game to watch.
I look forward to it as well. That should be a good one. You said Trail tried to join?
Yeah, I see him up there. Looks like his audio's.
Probably still connecting.
He,
See if we can get him on. Are we in?
there,
What's going on, Joey?
There,
there we go.
Trail.
What's going on? My bad, I'm driving.
All good, bro. All good, dude. I'm trying to hopefully the show stays on for me. I already lost my internet for tonight, so I'm down to just my phone filming on Zoom right now. Yeah, so Keith is kind of administrating the whole call at the moment. But yeah, we're just chilling, man, having a good time. We talked about talked about some 4-state squads, hyped up AFN, the work you all did this weekend, that C bracket. It was tough, though. You know, you guys, looking back, had a tough Saturday from the get-go. You had to go against Maryland Titans, who they were very highly touted coming in. You know, Doc's a legend. He's played for years. Always a good competition. That game, whenever time AFN Titans play, it's an old-school slugfest. You got guys on both sides who've been around the game forever, and the game you guys had, excellent game overall. I think it was a 6-3 score. I think it was a very, very scoring tight game.
Yep, it was 6-3. 6-3 them, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, very close one. Second game you guys played on Saturday, Brick Squad. That was a team I don't think you had even played before. Brick Squad Nation.
No.
Your thoughts on them, because they were a team in Ocean City that surprised a lot of people. I don't think anybody really thought much of them going in.
They actually not a bad squad at all. They have a relentless pass rush that constantly comes to see you. They also have an offensive scheme that is built in layers. So if you take away the deep, they have check downs that are almost unguarded. So you almost have to go man to kind of neutralize that. But that's the best way to seemingly attack their offense. But in regards to their defense, the linebackers play a lot of the lane. In addition to, like I said, their front four coming to get you.
Okay. Sunday, you guys ended up in C. I know you guys Saturday, you were a bit undermanned. Was not enough guys available for the trip, or?
The funny thing is, prior to the trip, we had 30 folks.
True.
And clearly not 30 on Saturday and not 30 on Sunday. So there will be some adjustments made on our side. And we'll just see how that goes.
No, I understand that completely. I mean, you go from 34 to the little numbers you had on both days. It's something where you got to look at the guys and say to those who didn't make it, look, you're either part of this nation or you're out of it. Simple as that.
And literally, that is where we are.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, this is a franchise. And, you know, Trail, you've been on this journey with AFN for a long time. You know, we first saw you up here in Washington County that spring of 18. I mentioned that stat earlier. Trail is one of 3 quarterbacks to have beaten Chris Boone in this area. You go back to that championship game between AFN and ADR. Let's go back in time a little bit. Flashback to the good old days. Memory of that championship game with Adrenaline Rush in 2018.
I do. That was a fun game. It was kind of like a heavyweight fight, the game that everybody wanted to see. It was a game or matchup that everybody wanted to see. And I don't think it disappointed at all. ADR had or has a system. I don't know if they split at all or if they're still together. I don't know. But they had a system, or Boom runs a system that it has checks and balances in it depending on what you do. Literally, if you take away this, I'm going to have that. If you take away that, I'm going to have this. And if you don't account for everybody, he's going to walk up and down. That team will walk up and down the field on you with no problem.
Facts. Keith, you saw it firsthand what Chris Boone can do when he's got the time.
Yeah, he's deadly. He's deadly without time. With time, he's a monster.
Yeah.
You can't bring him down. You can't even get to him. He gets rid of it before you can even get a chance to get him down.
That's and honestly, we were talking about earlier, Trail, that game against X-Dogs on Sunday reminded me a lot of that ADR AFN championship game.
We behind that game as well. So, yeah. It's
same scores, actually. You guys were behind by the same score, and you won by the same score.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I think I overheard a few folks on the sidelines, like when we got down about, 2 scores, I'm pretty sure. Folks like, oh, this game's over. As a matter of fact, I want to say somebody from Venom may have said that the game was over. And I want to say Tay Berry was like, bet money. I think he said bet money to somebody. And things turned around from there.
Yeah, an excellent comeback by the Affiliate Nation, knocking off the X-Dogs 20-14. Believe it or not, I believe that was the first time that Trail and Matt Eisenberg had ever faced off before. The X-Dogs usually a fall team up here in our league. Trail was up here last fall. He did a spot appearance on Misfits against Showtime. But other than that, we had never seen Trail versus Matt till Sunday. And I thought it was a really good matchup between two quarterbacks who've won on the 9-man level before. Trail, you won Virginia Beach a few years ago with AFN. Matt, he's won Oklahoma City and Henderson over the years. So I thought it was a really good way to start the day. Two quarterbacks who've been around the game for a while, facing off, and it did not disappoint at all.
It was a fun game to play. Well, it was a fun game to play, minus my foot. But other than that, it was a fun game to play. Their front they have a physical front. They have a physical front, and they don't stop coming at you. Pause. But me personally, I love clean physical games. I love clean physical games. I don't care about getting hit. I don't. If you hit me clean, I will get up and say good hit, period. If you hit me dirty, not so much. But if you hit me clean, that's part of the game. So, you know what I mean? A lot of folks, when they get hit, they get upset. They get this, that, and the third. Bruh, it's football. It's going to happen. If it was golf and you got hit, okay, you can get mad. It's not golf. It's not golf. But X-Dogs, they're a strong squad up front. And that's how I look at most teams. I look at teams with how they block and how they pass rush. That's where everything starts. For every team is how you protect and how you pass rush. Usually, if you don't do one of those well, the game will be tight or you're going to struggle, period.
Facts.
Period.
Facts. Big.
Like earlier, I think I saw it was the debate versus A versus B. They're not the same.
I believe you saw that firsthand, Trail, when you were there at Charm City 2019 with AFN against the Strong Island Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
Memories of that game with Strong Island.
The difference was like with B, and I guess now if you want to consider either a division, the difference is having big athletic guys versus having big athletic guys who have technique and skill. Those are the differences. So you have big guys who can block. You have big guys that can block. You have big guys who are athletic. Then you have big guys who are athletic and have technique and skill. That is the biggest difference between A and B. And the fact that a lot of teams, they're going to send 4 regardless, 4 hard calls again, and they're going to man behind it, and the defensive backs are physical at the line of scrimmage. Those are the two biggest differences between A and B. Skill position players. In B, you may have a team with 2 dynamic. A, they're almost at every position on the field. So instead of having to account for 1 or 2, everybody that they got lined up can probably flat out do it one way or another. And like I said, those are definitely the differences between the 2 divisions. That's it. Oh, and organization. I left that out. And organization.
That's something I've said for years. That you got to have like a certain kind of leadership to succeed in A bracket ball.
Indeed.
So that said, did you get a chance to check out Misfits over the weekend?
I did not. I heard they had a good showing for sure on Sunday, I want to say. And I heard they had a rough game coming out the gate, I think. But then things started to click for them and things started turning around for them in a positive manner.
Yeah, they ended up competing very well this weekend, I thought. I take a look at that team a lot. That's something we often wondered about. There was a great debate here. You remember years ago during that debate about A and B in our league in Washington County, when ADR and Mayhem were on the A circuit and we're calling out AFN for being the B circuit. Kind of similar to what we see in OMFFL right now with Rampage against Misfits and Elite Rebels. What do you think of the chances for a DMV team, not just Misfits, let's just say Elite Rebels could do it? Do you see a DMV squad being able to win nationally at the A level anytime soon?
Anytime soon?
And I'm not talking a throwaway small A tournament like what we saw with Capital a few years ago.
Nationals, right?
Huh?
You're talking about like nationals, right?
Let's say like a Nationals or maybe even Atlantic City, which I think might as well be a mid-season Nationals at this point.
Okay. I believe so. I definitely believe so. There are a few strong teams from this area that I think could potentially win Atlantic City or Nationals. It just depends on I know there are sometimes where I know for Nationals that, and I'm going to air quote this, folks get added or for hire, so to speak. I know that happens at Nationals. That wouldn't happen at an AC tournament, but for Nationals, that tends to happen more often than not for the upper A teams. Now, don't get me wrong. I know they have their core folks, but there are definitely some folks who are brought in to enhance their possibilities for winning. You know what I mean? So if I guess it doesn't necessarily it matters, but how you get it done, I guess it doesn't matter how you get it done as long as you get it done. And I guess it depends on how folks really how invested they are in winning a national. Because I think it's a different ball game when it comes to that.
Big facts when it comes to A. Going over, let's go back to the recap of Sunday. You faced Venom shortly afterwards. I want to say that was a 13-0 game. You guys scored just enough on offense to get the win. Defensively, shut down Robbie Sparks and company. Your thoughts on the win against Venom?
Their offense surprised me. It surprised me. I thought their offense would be more dynamic. I think. I thought they will have more wrinkles because of the skill players that they have, whether at quarterback or at receiver or running back, that they would throw more wrinkles where it'll lead to misdirection or concepts where they'll put folks in conflict 2-on-1, where one defender's forced to check two people. And that wasn't the case. It was almost like they was like, my man is going to beat your man. And that caught me off guard by how their team is built on offense. On defense, their front four gets at you. They got a nose tackle that is very disruptive, and they got a DN that is, his motor does not stop. It does not stop. He rushed me and chased down a pass play. I saw that on a few different occasions.
That's crazy. That's cool. Yeah.
So he has a motor that does not stop. They are a couple of pieces from being right there. They are a couple pieces from being right there. For the most part, their defense can hold. They just have to get an identity on offense as to what they really want to do, or tailor their offense to their personnel, to where you can actually scheme folks open. So, depending on what they decide to do, you know what I mean, that would determine what trajectory they're going to take, so to speak.
We will see. Championship game came down to you all against the Tri-State Spartans. Spartans, you left Washington County after the spring of 18. You pop up once on Misfits last season. Other than that, you didn't really get a chance to see this Spartan team come around. The season prior, they folded to you getting there, and then they didn't really come back until about 2 or 3 seasons after you had left. What was your thought on this very young Tri-State team that had a couple guys that you probably saw around Washington County when you were there a couple years ago? We mentioned some of the veterans, Danny Longerby, Marquise Farmer. Those guys. Look at a lot of the younger guys on there as well, such as Christian and Lucas and all those dudes. What were your thoughts on this Tri-State team in that championship game?
They are a scrappy bunch. They're a scrappy bunch. I heard after the fact, I think their quarterback got injured. Their starting quarterback got injured, I believe.
Actually, the day one quarterback got hurt.
Yeah,
he got hurt against Bad Boys.
Okay. So they were down to, I think, their second or maybe their third quarterback at some point, I want to say.
I think Dakota was their third one, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they are a scrappy bunch. They're a scrappy bunch. They're let me say pause because I know this is gonna come off all the way fucking wrong. Better yet, they have rangy. They got rangy folks in the secondary. There we go. I was gonna use the L word, but I'm not gonna use the L word. They have rangy folks in the secondary, and they almost try to bait you into throwing into windows that they try to leave open for you. They do that a lot. They shouldn't, because I mean, their front four. If you close that window, quarterback holds the ball. Their front four will get there.
Yeah,
their front four will get there. So that's what I saw in regards to them on defense. On offense, it was almost like some of the time they were unsure as to what to run. And I just chalked that up to being on their third quarterback. I guess trying to run what he's comfortable with, or, folks getting used to him because they may not, rock with him as often as they did with, QB1. So
yeah. Caden's been the guy since the reboot in 2019. Dakota, he had an appearance in the playoffs in county. He actually played the first 2 or 3 quarters against the program in the quarterfinals. But
okay.
other than that, Sunday, I think, was only his second appearance at quarterback.
Oh, so there you have it. So it was someone that seemingly was just thrown into the fire, so to speak. So I mean, that's never an easy situation to be in, especially if that's something that you wasn't planning on or you hadn't been working on. That's kind of like me saying, all right, hey, Tay Berry, I need you to play quarterback, bro. I'm just not feeling it today. And, he's not mentally prepared, so you just get thrown in the fire and you're like, oh, fuck. Okay, I'll make it work.
Yeah,
and then folks have to
Barry back in the day, though, was undefeated in Washington County as a starter.
Huh?
Tay Berry was undefeated starting in Washington County at quarterback.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, both times that Tay Berry played QB, AFN won. I think the only time, actually, he might have lost the program, but they only had 13 guys that day against program. They were very low in numbers that day, and he still scored twice on that program defense.
Hey, I bet. Hey, Tay's on here. Hey, Tay, warm that arm up,
boy. Tay Berry could sling it, bro. I see it the first half. He could sling it. But, you talk about that. It is different. Like to have Dakota come in there in a circuit game against a very experienced AFN squad that's been around the block. You guys have faith for like the Rampage, Strong Island, Scorpion, Renegades, Rideout, those squads. For the Tri-State Spartans, this was truly their first big-time appearance. They had played Venom in the 410 Ravens last year, travel-wise, but they took a step up this weekend in competition with Bad Boys, Baez, and people can scuff at the affiliate nation all they want, but it's still the affiliates.
I don't mind that. I mean, I don't really hear that noise much. I have a saying that I've been living by forever. What someone else eat doesn't make me shit. So I don't really hear all that noise. I don't hear that noise. If everybody's gonna have an opinion, everybody's gonna have a say so about this, that, and the third, so be it. Show your shit on the field, then all that shit goes away. Period. You can't talk shit to somebody who's winning, but you can definitely talk shit to folks who losing. So if you losing, then you got to take that fucking L and shut the fuck up and get your shit right. Period. And that's where we are at the moment. So we haven't been playing sound or good football for a while. and we're starting to try to get back to playing sound football. Period. As far as folks talking or bad talking AFN and this, that, and the third, I can care less. That shit doesn't matter at all. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. You shut folks up by winning. You shut folks up by playing sound football and handling business. Period.
Fact. All facts. Your thoughts on the C bracket as a whole? You come from the 8-man world. You played in the VFFA 8-man style. You played in the FFWCP 8-man style. You played co-ed. You played 35 plus. You played highest level. You played all. You know all the levels of the 8-man.
C. It's actually time for C. It's actually time for a 9-man C. 9-man is starting to take off. 9-man is starting to take off. So you have more teams that are starting to pop up on the circuit here and there. They're starting to, I guess you have some folks who are coming over from 8-man or doing both. You have more areas starting to put teams together. So there's nothing wrong with, I'm not going to say nothing. Well, there's nothing wrong with a C because it's that time. Like, think of the tournament in Nationals last year. I think it was like maybe 10, 12 teams and like 25, 30 in B.
Yeah, so, B's stupid loaded the last few years.
Exactly. So it's starting to overflow. So I mean, a lot of teams aren't necessarily jumping from B to A. You know what I mean? So you might have 3 or 4 teams jump from B to A. Okay, all well and good. So now A goes to about 16 teams. B is still in the 20 to 30 range, and then some folks that's in B, they're going through changes. They may have split from another team. So they're taking some major lumps in B. It's okay to have a C bracket. I mean, that's almost like, you know, kind of like getting your feet wet. You know what I mean? So once you get an identity, then, you know, you can start, okay, you know what? I'm going to start moving up from here and increase, you know, my level of competition that I'm going to face, you know? So
yeah.
I don't necessarily see anything wrong with the C. Me personally, I didn't go to Ocean City to play for a C championship or to play in C. I didn't. That wasn't my goal. I did not accomplish my goal in Ocean City. Period. So just because I didn't accomplish my initial goal, or we didn't accomplish our initial goal in Ocean City, doesn't mean that nothing got accomplished. And that's something that folks don't necessarily see. So just because you didn't win the championship in B doesn't mean that Ocean City was a wash. There were some things that took place and some things that we did that have been lacking for a long fucking time. And it's great when folks finally starting to understand what's needed to be successful in tournaments and or be successful as a team.
Facts. I agree on that 100%. Anything else you want to add tonight, Frank?
The funny thing is, I normally don't talk this much, so I don't know where the fuck this is actually coming from. I'm normally pretty quiet, but I had stepped away from 9-man for a few years. I had stepped away. I wasn't having fun anymore, and AFN has brought back the fun for me. They brought back the fun for me. So I'm looking forward to being more competitive in league play. I'm looking to be more competitive in tournaments. As a team, as an organization, I'm looking forward to competing against any and everybody, regardless if they A, B, C, D, double fucking F. I don't give a shit about that. I don't really care. The biggest thing I want us to do, I want us to compete against whomever, whenever we're within those lines. Period.
And that's always been the motto of the Affiliate Nation.
Yes, sir.
Anyways, Trail, thank you for joining us tonight. Looking forward to seeing you on the circuit. Best of luck in Maffle until then. Glad to hear AFN and Maffle back in action on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Who you all got Sunday?
We have Southside and PME.
Okay, PME back on the scene. All right, looking forward to seeing both of your games.
Yes,
Best of luck, Trail. We'll see you next time in Atlantic City, hopefully.
Hey, thanks, Joey. I appreciate you having me on. Hey,
Appreciate
Ron.
yourself.
For sure. Y'all be good.
All right.
All right.
Trail joining us. Glad to hear from Trail. Longtime friend of the shows, longtime friend of us. 2018 Spring Washington County champion, MVP of that championship game, co-MVP with Chico, who we had on last night from Rampage. I'll tell you, the sun is rising in the Affiliate Nation again. It might not be, but better days are coming for AFN. Final thoughts, Keith Giles, before we shut this down tonight.
Oh, I'm just ready to get back to some league play here. I know I don't play, but it's going to be nice to see some league play back in action and get back in the normal swing of things again.
I'm looking forward to it as well. We'll have it live Saturday, 8 a.m. Keith Giles will be there. Outlaws, West Virginia Venom, followed by Outlaws, Reckless Villains, then Reckless Villains, Tri-State Spartans. Then we wrap up the day with a good one.
The rematch.
Oh, yeah. Spartan Prime Time. Here we go. We'll see you then.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right.